You're listening to the Deep Purple Podcast, a fan podcast about one of the most legendary bands of all time, Deep Purple. We take a look at the music, history, and people behind the band Deep Purple and beyond. Welcome to the Deep Purple Podcast, the first and only podcast devoted to one of the greatest bands in rock history, Deep Purple. Today's episode is episode number 183, Trapeze, live in Houston, 1972. And coming to you from the pumpkin capital of the USA, I'm your host, Nathan Beaudry.
And coming to you from the suburbs of Providence, I'm your co-host, John Pastries Matola.
All right. Are you eating some pastries right now or just making them?
Neither.
Okay.
So here, I got something really quick. There's Italian here. So
Italian?
there's a bakery that I probably talked about that's near my parents' house. Great pastries, horrible service. So, but
You don't
we've
have
been
to have
going
good service if it's good pastries.
Well, yeah, exactly. I put up with it because they have some stuff there I really like. So I decided let's go look up some reviews on this place. There've got to be some. So this is probably my favorite. The username is 420. So you can
just not even like name 420, just like 420 straight up.
Yeah,
Wow,
just 420 actually. It's twice. So this dude's serious.
Guys smoked 2 joints.
Yeah, so where this is going to go. And this is also today is the anniversary of Ozzy's Speak of the Devil album. So keep on smoking them joints.
That's right. That is right. And I was taking my son to the doctor. I was like, I'm going to listen to it because it's the anniversary. Not on Spotify. So I got to get that on my phone.
Yeah, it's not. It's never going to be that popular. But anyway, here goes. Very quick and to the point. Food is okay. Service sucks. They are very unpleasant. The customers are also just huddled and nobody knows where the line is. Even stoned, I'm not going there again. That was what made the review for me.
I mean, we could use Grubhub or something to have it delivered.
Even stoned. So he might have to go there not stoned.
Apparently, yeah. Maybe it'll be fine. It'll be just fine. Well, if he's kind of relaxed from the herbal supplements, then maybe he'll be even more on edge. I don't know, but so we had some. Unlike last year, we did our fall. Well, our fall festival was still on a warm day this year, but we did a fall fun day. It was only like 60 degrees, so we're all wearing hoodies.
It didn't feel like you were at like the doorstep of hell like last year.
Nope.
90-degree heat.
Yeah, thank God, because we did like the pumpkin. We picked apples. We did the pumpkin ride. We did the corn maze. We just would have been sweltering in that corn maze last year. But no, it was beautiful. It was a crisp, cool day. A little too cold when the sun went behind the clouds. It was perfect fall day. I've got a cider donut here. From my sojourn. I stole it before I came downstairs because I figured when I came upstairs it would not be there anymore.
True.
But on our hayride, I was greeted with this fact that I never knew when he said Illinois produces more pumpkins than any other state in the United States, which I wouldn't have really necessarily thought. And I pulled up this article from last year at this time. It says gourds grow big on the East Coast and smaller out west, but when it comes to growing the most in the country, Illinois is the pumpkin king. The Midwestern state accounts for the largest share of American pumpkins, producing 41% of the nation's crop last year, according to data from the U.S. Department of Agriculture.
Congrats.
Freaking pumpkins. For out of 50 states to be producing 41% is pretty impressive.
Yeah, I wouldn't have known that.
And it's not even close. So Illinois produces, as of the 2020 statistics, 564 million pounds of pumpkins.
The hell?
And
what's going on out there?
The next closest state is California with 102 million. So over 5.5 times more than California.
The hell is going on out there?
Pretty impressive. So anyway, that's some pumpkin facts for you.
Fall facts.
And hey, you know, if you enjoy pumpkin facts, our spinoff Pumpkin Facts podcast will be coming at you, where me and John are going to be double dipping, doing double duty to create our Pumpkin Facts supplemental show, to help you better understand the show. But until then, there's a few things you can do to support the show. One of them is becoming a patron on Patreon or PayPal for as little as $1 a month. You can help support the show. We use the money, all goes back into the show. We buy John new microphones. We buy albums to review. We get I don't know, all the album that you're going to be listening to in just a bit came from Patreon money, so I appreciate that. And anything else that we might need. And right now we're kind of putting it into the kitty for something I've been talking about probably since episode 1, which is getting a new computer, because mine is living on borrowed time, and while it functions, it could function a lot better and have something a little bit more slick for the studio here. So and you know, we're coming up on, I built this almost 9 years ago, so I don't like to play games with my computers and wait till it dies. I like to make sure I've got one that's usable at the moment. So anyway, you can also buy merch at our Etsy store, and you can leave us a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts. Doing so, the next person to do so will get a mystery percussion item sounded for them that somebody on the chat probably knows what it is already, has cracked the code. But yeah, we are joined today, as it is a live stream, by our patrons. So becoming a patron gets you a couple things. One is access to our patrons only Discord, where you get invites to shows such as this. Then you can also get access to our rating spreadsheet. And yeah, that's some of the benefits, but probably the biggest benefit for everybody is just supporting the show that keeps you entertained on your commutes and all that sort of stuff. So we really appreciate it. We did get a new patron last week, but in a week time, I still haven't heard back from Ruinous Inadequacies to hear if they had any sort of welcome note or anything. So we might have to put them in the mystery man tier. It's very mysterious. Who is this Ruinous Inadequacies? They've got a what I assume is a silly made up name, but they're at the $3 tier still. So maybe we'll hear something back from Ruinous and be able to share it with you on the show. But until then, we'll thank our executive level patrons at the $25 Uncommon Man tier. We have Ovis Nakvi and Purple Maniac. At the £10 tier, Dr. Jill Brees. At the Turn It Up to $11 tier, Clay Wambacher, Frank Teelgard Mortensen, Alan Ain't Too Proud to Beg, and Mikkel Steen. And at the $10 Someone Came tier, Ryan M., Jeff Bryce, Victor Campos, Better Call Saul Evans, and Kev Roberts and his wonderful children, Matthew, Gareth, and Sarah. We haven't gotten to all the patrons yet, as we'll get to some later in the show, but we are being joined by quite a few patrons here. We've got Fielding, we've got Spike, we got Sugar T, Peter Gardeau, Scott Haskin, we got Alan Ain't Too Proud to Beg, we've got Hall of Famer Rich. I mean, we're just spoiled with this amazing crew we have with us to take a listen to this album today, which is, of course, Trapeze live in Houston, 1972. When in 1972? Well, October 21st, 1972. So when this show comes out, it'll be just a few days before the 50th anniversary of this concert we're about to hear.
Wow.
Which is pretty amazing. And I gotta say, before this, I don't think I'd really, other than like that really, really early on, like 5-piece trapeze, I don't think I really ever heard any live trapeze. Have you?
No, I don't
Nothing?
recall hearing any live trapeze actually. So this should be good.
This should be there's not going to be any tricks on this one, only treats as we dive into this live trapeze album. But I was a little worried because we scheduled this in advance. I ordered it was available last year. It came out for like Record Store Day, but I didn't buy it right away. And then I was like, I'm going to pick it up. It's only available on record. There's no CD version or anything like that because it was for Record Store Day, and it was Saturday, and the record still had. I ordered it on about 3 weeks ago. It still hadn't arrived.
Wow!
And I was like, oh man, are we gonna have to reschedule the show? But Saturday, look what came in, baby.
Hey-o.
Look at those handsome gentlemen. So we're good to go. We've got this amazing 9 tracks on 2 records of their show at the Sam Houston Coliseum in Houston, Texas, Saturday, October 21st, 1972, 7:30 p.m. So if you want, maybe you could listen to this episode, start it up right at 7:30 p.m. and you'll be listening to it exactly 50 years later to the day. But very excited about this. I shot a note over to Jeff Bryce, and he was, I to let him know about the live stream, and he said, great choice for a live stream, but you guys need to prepare. This is a live concert from 1972, not a pop metal show from the 80s. A barrel of Pabst and starting at 2 p.m. Have some other music of the era playing in the background. When 6 o'clock rolls around, crank up this album loud, get into it, make it loud, too loud to talk over. This is an awesome album. Dig the music, especially the 13-minute versions. This is what real rock and roll is, stretching out and ripping it up. And a wonderful. I don't want to see anybody sitting down. Well, I'm afraid. Well, then don't watch the YouTube video, because you'll see two of us. I don't have either that, or you're going to see my chest the entire show. But yes, but great. I did not have any Paps, but I reached into my little cooler bag here, and I do have, in honor of Jeff, a New Glarus spotted cow, which is only available in the great state of Wisconsin, where Jeff resides. As I went to Wisconsin a few weeks ago for the Renaissance Fair, stopped by and picked some up. So there we go. That one's for you, Jeff. I did not start drinking at 2 o'clock, as sometimes when I start drinking when the show starts, I can barely finish the show. So, Alan's asking what Pabst is. So Pabst is a terrible beer, a terrible American beer. It's probably from like Missouri or something. Let's see. Is named after Frederick Pabst, but it's called Pabst Blue Ribbon. Peter Gardner just said Pabst Blue Ribbon Bear, like the animal. No, it's actually also from Wisconsin, so that would make sense why Jeff was so into it. But yeah, it's like a very crappy beer that you got to drink ice cold, whereas New Glarus this is a very, very simple beer, but very nice and refreshing. I'm going to take a sip from Mr. Bryce. Delicious. And this is a really good beer. Actually, you'd really like it, John. So maybe next time you're around, if my Wisconsin trips line up, I can have one for you.
Okay.
But it's really good. It's very light, super easy to drink. It's not very high alcohol at all, and it's only available in Wisconsin, so people go nuts for it. If they released it nationwide, it would probably just be like, oh, okay, you can get it anywhere. But so it's got this kind of like mythical quality around here, and people from Wisconsin, whenever they go, they stock up on cases and cases of it and bring it back. So,
well, Rich just pointed out, I was thinking it too. It's widely abbreviated as PBR.
That's
Pabst
true,
Blue Ribbon.
Yep, Pabst Blue Ribbon, PBR. Yep.
Yeah, I'm gonna have some PBR. I was like, what's that? Is that like a network like news show or on PBR?
PBR, public radio.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's I don't know how it stacks up against Milwaukee's Best, or if there's any sort of
or Natty Light. Never gets
yeah, it's probably all of about the same. Yeah, Scott says we have Pabst in Detroit. I'm pretty sure Pabst was countrywide, but probably did not make its way to Scotland. I'm sure, Alan, you probably have a similarly, lousy mass-produced beer up there. Although they do kind of tend to take things a little more seriously with their beer brewing up there. They take a little more pride in it than the mass-produced, mostly corn and rice derivative stuff that they make here. Peter says it sounds. Oh, Treehouse. So I've had some Treehouse beer. I'll talk to you about that after, Peter. The Treehouse beer, good stuff. Okay. But yes, probably pretentious. But hey, I'm pretentious. What are you going to do? Okay. So yeah, we're, I always say this, but this time maybe it'll be true. It might be a little bit of a shorter episode as we dive into this album, and so that we don't have necessarily interruptions. Let's get through our core level patrons here before we start up the album, and then we can round it out with our foundation level. So at the core level, these amazing patrons help support the show every week. At the $7.77 Keep It Warm Rat tier, we have Michael Vader. At the $6.99 new nice price tier, Fielding Fowler. At the episode $6.66 tier, Steve Coldwell, Arthur Smith, Anton Glaving, and Richard Fusey. At the $6.65 almost evil tier, Kenny Wymore. At the $5.66 nice price tier, Robert Smith, Peter from Illinois, the pumpkin capital of the country, Michael Bagford, and Carl Hellberg. And at the $5 money lender tier, John Convery, German Heindel, Adrian Hernandez, Jesper Alman, Alexei the Perfect Stranger, Slepikov, James North, Mark Hodgetts, Will Porter, Zwapper the Electric Alchemist, Tim Southern Cross Johnson, Percival Frequency, and Scott Zerns. Whew. Thank you so much for all of your generous support. You know, we have been having a lot of long shows lately, but I think it's because of our patron list keeps growing. It takes a lot just to get through all the patrons.
I'll take a longer show and more patrons because that just gets us closer to our dream of retiring.
That's true. And our dream of having to produce no real content. It's just us reading off names.
Yeah, you read off names and I'll just be sitting here like this.
John's going to be like, should I send my audio file over? I think I just said yes one time as I agreed. We could just do that. We'll just list the patrons for like 35 minutes. We'll play Smoke on the Water and then we'll just call it a show.
Yeah, I can have some like canned responses in there that you can just throw in. I'll just be like, yes.
Like, I'll have them like all my little jingle sound clips, and John's like, ha ha, that's funny. Just play them.
Yeah, I'll make sure it sounds really like stiff and like emotionless, so everybody knows that it's canned responses.
Yeah, it could have just all be like typical things like, Glenn Hughes is really singing crazy on this one, or Ritchie doesn't like that shoe shine music. And sometimes play them where it's appropriate or where it's not appropriate. I think it could be good.
Yeah, see, I wouldn't even have to show up.
So they're talking about Scotch in the chat. And I just got to tell you, so unexpectedly, before we get started with the album, my neighbor comes over the other night. He saw I turned on my lights on my patio, and he said, I saw your lights turn on and I'm drinking Scotch. Can I come over? And I said, sure. So he brought 3 bottles of Scotch and we just sat on the patio and we played music and listened. And actually it was on the anniversary of the concerto. So it just happened to come up on my thing, and he's like, what's this? And he was really digging it, really getting into it. And he knows about the show. He's really into music. So I was telling him about it, and we were just drinking Scotch and we just listened to the full concerto. It was amazing. Had some Ardbeg and some Lavagulan 16 and 8. I don't know much about Scotch, but we drank the remainder of the 3 bottles, and I felt fantastic the next morning. Not sarcastically. I drank a lot of water. We drank them over the course of hours and hours of just listening to music and sitting out there. It was really, really nice. That's your daily fielding. I didn't know fielding was rolling like that. He's drinking Lagavulin. Am I saying that right?
Was it Gabagool?
Gabagool. It is not Italian.
That's my Italian ears picking it up. Gabagool.
Yeah, it's basically a nice gabagool. Oh boy. All right. So with that, hey, let's get into this. Let's get into this album. So this is, like I said, this is Trapeze live in Houston, 1972. And screen sharing failed to start. The window you selected is invalid. What?
Yeah, Nate, this is going to be a shorter episode, 2 hours later. All right. Well, good night, folks.
It said that I've never gotten that message before. The window I selected is invalid. It's like, I feel a little insulted by that.
I think that your computer is revolting.
You're invalid. Okay, here we go. All right, I'll have to make sure I open this chat window so I can see what's going on there. And here we go. So I'll put all these in an order, so they'll just go straight through. And here we go. We open up with Way Back to the Bone live.
Oh, that's a good opener.
Yeah, right. Turn this up a little bit. And it does kind of start off a little. I did listen to the very beginning of this. It's very it's very raw. Like there's lots of stuff they could have cut out in the beginning here of just like getting ready to play. I think it gives you a really good sense of what it must have been like to be at the concert. Yes, this is ripped straight off the LP. I don't want my record player's like way over there. I don't want to move it.
1, 2. 1, 2.
This is From England in Concert. It was written by Casey Kasem. These gentlemen from England.
Yeah.
These young boys from England called Trapeze.
Wild West Productions and K101 Radio, very proud and happy to present some very special friends from England. Trapeze!
So it must have been like broadcast live on the radio. What a treat.
What a song to open with.
great.
Come on, let's have it. Come on. Ow! Get out!
A little feedback coming up there. Track listing. You can see the track listing there. So this is a mini version of.
Do you know if this is a soundboard recording?
It must be, because it sounds like it was recorded on the. It was a broadcast, you know.
Wow, Glenn sounds really raw.
Yeah, he's like sounding really like he sounded like he's played 10 shows in a row. It's almost like he hasn't quite warmed up yet. Great sound though. We're big fans of early trapeze vocals.
Yeah.
And in general, just that super tight power trio sound.
I mean, the guys are playing really great. Like, the music sounds really good. Like, they sound as good as they do on record.
Oh, yeah.
I think some, like, live, historically, some of my favorite power trios, like Cream, Grand Funk Railroad, like these guys, they always sound great live, and maybe it's because there are less people.
I think you've got to. I mean, you've got to be really on top of it. You can't hide behind anyone when you're in a power trio. And the same actually can be said of a four-piece where the singer is just the singer, you know? When they're going to be doing, you're going to hear some soloing with just bass and drums behind it, and that's tough to pull off.
Come on!
There we go.
You know darn well.
Very well.
Oh, yeah.
I'm going to be playing this on my Sonos speaker for trick-or-treaters this year. He's got some of those Glennisms, but it still has that really raw like sound like you hear on Medusa.
Yeah.
So as a reminder, so in this band we've got Mel Galley, outstanding guitar, a former of later Whitesnake fame, and Dave Holland on drums.
And Glenn Hughes on bass and vocals.
And Glenn Hughes. So I buried the lead there. In fact, Mel Galley's son was on social media the other day. Well, maybe it was a few months ago. Looking for, I guess it was, I don't know if it's trapeze Wait, no, it must have been Trapeze. I think played a show the day he was born, and he was looking for somebody that if they had that concert poster to sell to him.
Oh wow,
and I don't know if he couldn't find a good quality version of it.
That's really cool.
I can't remember the date of it either, but maybe I'll look it up or listen. But
it'd be like an interesting keepsake.
Yeah, I mean, that would be. I've actually looked for things from like the day I was born. I haven't been able to find anything. I've looked for like Rainbow, Gillan bands, you name it, not Deep Purple. But
that's kind of that's interesting. That'd be like kind of an interesting thing. Maybe I'll do that.
I thought it'd be cool to have like a concert stub or something, but there's as far as I can tell, nothing.
Poster, even a reproduction or something of like favorite band or an artist or something.
Yo, time, come on.
Pretty cool.
Let me hear it. Come on, get out, come on.
Pretty cool little breakdowns here. I found something the day I was born. Perry Como live in NYC, 1938.
Okay.
I know something you don't know.
Oh, happy 84th birthday, Fielding.
It's a very like modern music.
You've been talking with it. You ain't been talking with it.
Tight ending. I can't remember how they ended on the album. I don't think they ended quite like that.
Ow! Thank you very much indeed. Thank you. It's good to be back. We're gonna do some songs off the new album, You Are the Music, We're Just the Band. And some songs which we have been doing for a while, which we've dropped and brought back again just for these few gigs in the South from the Medusa album.
Medusa.
That's how we say it here in New England. Medusa.
I know, it's one of those things that actually kind of like translates.
Ah, this sounds great.
Get up to the rhythm, start by clapping your hands. You don't need the words now. This isn't understand.
I found it.
Get your body moving, get time with the beat.
Posted in April, May 6th, 1972. Trapeze played Ector County Coliseum in Odessa, Texas. Again, in Texas. So if anybody out there's got one, let me know. I can put you in touch with Marcus.
I don't know if this was a particularly rough night for Glenn. I mean, I always know he was a little more raspy, a little more raw in the early days, but it's really interesting to hear how he got a little more soulful and smooth with his voice even a year or two after this, once he was in Purple. Like he just kind of lost this edge.
Yeah, he's never had that grit really since.
Which, I mean, that could have just been him developing his style or maybe even getting better, but I really enjoy this because it really sets him apart from when he was in Deep Purple and then beyond.
Trapeze was a much smaller band, and I think when you're in a band like that, like the equipment you're playing with, you might not have good monitors. You tend to really I mean, not that I'm Glenn Hughes by any means. not even 1% of Lynn Hughes, but I know whenever I would do vocals like live, if I didn't have a good monitor, you're singing just so loud so you can try to hear yourself over the music, and
That's
you blow
true.
your voice out real easy in one night. If he was doing it night after night after night with different setups in every location, that might be where some of that grit is coming from.
Yeah,
And maybe
that's something
hadn't
that
found
I
his
didn't
voice
think
yet.
about. Yeah, but no, you make a fair point. I know there are a lot of vocalist singers that will say if they don't have a good monitor, they can't hear themselves. That will come out like they are sucking when they actually just can't hear themselves.
Oh yeah. Whenever if you're in like a small, if you see somebody like Major, they've got in-ear monitors, like Gillan, I'm sure he's got in-ear monitors. He's got everything like exactly the way you. Oh, he might have a stage monitor. But at any rate, if you're in a huge band, you're getting exactly what you want as a singer. It's just really hard, you know. It's not the same way where if you're playing guitar, you can go on muscle memory and you're fine. If you can't hear your voice, it's very hard to compensate for that. You're just sending me postcards and postcard links. Sent me a link to a postcard of the Houston Coliseum. Oh yeah, I meant to mention that. Thank you, Peter. So I mean, well, actually, you know, maybe I'll get it to. So he sent me a list of memorable shows from Sam Houston Coliseum, which I did have in my show notes. You'll notice Trapeze was not on this list, but it was added by yours truly the other day when I was putting together the notes for this show.
We're gonna make it. We both in the head. You're on the music. We're just a band. Together we make it. Across this land. Listen.
They got some tight concert endings there. Crazy. He sounded like it was done. Thank you.
We're gonna do a song which Mel right off the
Medusa.
Medusa album. And this is an upper and a downer together.
That sounds dangerous.
This is a song called Jury.
So yeah, there's been other notable concerts at the Sam Houston Coliseum. If I can find it here.
I love this song.
Jury now.
Yeah, this is such a great song.
October 14th, 1956, Elvis Presley played here. A mob of 1,000 teenagers rushed the stage and destroyed all of their instruments. Must have been great playing shows back then when that's just what you'd expect. John F. Kennedy gave a speech there on the last night of his life. He was killed the next day.
I am John F. Kennedy. Thank you, folks. I'll be here all night.
A famous Mottola impression where you have to say who you are.
Stop the music playing loud.
Listen how much better he sounds like when it's super, super quiet and you know he can really hear himself. I mean, he sounded great anyway, but just a little bit less raspy. He's not straining.
I don't know if it's Kennedy or Mayor Quimby. It's probably more Mayor Quimby.
Yeah, I mean, it's morphed into that. Here, just the bass. You can do that same little bass fill he normally does on the album.
For damnation's me, and know it is.
This is like straight up Black Sabbath. I love it.
Point out your finger of scowl. And raise the anger of the
Yes, this is
critic's
from
hand
Medusa.
to come down in your favor.
Medusa is an absolute must-have album.
Oh yeah,
Just make a break. Give it the chance.
easily their best.
I don't know. You Are the Music is really good too.
Oh yeah.
We haven't
I mean-
even got into it after post Glenn Hughes Trapeze is pretty damn good too.
Damn funky.
Damn.
Everything except the first album.
Yes, if you haven't heard our episode on the first album, check it out.
Did he do a whoop? Did he do a whoop whoop?
I mean, they're spot on to the record. I mean, it sounds so good. Nice ride work. Whoa. Was he controlling that? Did he have like a little floor pedal or something for the delay?
I don't know, but he had some kind of like spaceman vocals there or something.
Imagine if he had that in Deep Purple. Did he?
Yikes.
Whoa.
Oh, an early use of the whoop.
And it's a delayed whoop. It's kind of like that when that ship comes across the top in Space Invaders. They're asking how Medusa ranked against Four on the Floor, but if you ask John gave a 5 on Four on the Floor, so. And our buddy Steve Swift just did an episode on Four on the Floor.
Yeah, but I mean,
we brought it up.
I'm gonna like pick Medusa every time.
Yeah, oh yeah. Four on the Floor is fun though. It's fun to put that on.
Yeah, of course it is.
August 19th, 1965, the Beatles performed the Coliseum.
Ooh.
some obscure band.
Some blokes.
2 years and a day later, 1967, James Brown.
Ha! I'm James Brown. Ha!
Rich Little's got nothing on you, man. Man, this is so good.
Yeah, I think I gotta get this myself.
Oh yeah, this is must have. I don't know, It might be, even though I don't think they did a CD release, it might be on Spotify. Let me check. It's like weird. They release it on record and streaming, but not. Let me see here.
I got to know.
Wow, listen to that bass.
Oh, it's dirty. No, I don't.
That is
see
a
it on
that is a
Spotify.
bong
Oh, it is?
rattling bass. The bong rattling bass of Glenn Hughes.
Bong rattling?
You know,
Oh yeah, I know what a bong is. I don't know why you'd say bong rattling of all things. I'm not that much of a square. It's more like this, John.
I think some Simpsons fans will understand the reference.
Oh, okay, it's a Simpsons
Rich.
thing I'm not getting. Bong rattling.
Like, you know,
it
bong.
is on Spotify. Live
Oh.
in Houston, 1972. So.
You know, I mean, you figure that like most people will get their music streaming, or they're back into collecting vinyl. So those are probably the two most popular mediums where you could either hear it or make money off of the product.
But also they can charge like $50 for this nice pressing of this album with it's got we haven't even got into it yet, but it's got this really great gatefold with all these like newspaper articles and stuff, which is super cool. But for a CD, I mean, how much can you possibly charge?
I guess we have, you know that we have. I guess we have.
Wow, he's got some sort of, maybe it's somebody off stage controlling it, but he's got some sort of like reverb device he's playing around with.
Oh, you know we are.
Rich is saying this is reminding him of Grand Funk. I can hear that.
Yes. What I say?
I mean, that's awesome because it was like they did a drum solo, but they didn't, they threw in musical things and
Yeah, they made it interesting.
you can just sort of hear the crowd now, which you really haven't been able to hear them the whole show.
See, now that was the upper. Now this is the downer.
That would be my only criticism so far. It would be cool if they piped in a little crowd noise, but not anything artificial. But it's nice having a mic on the crowd and maybe just bringing that volume up a little before and after numbers. But because it sounds kind of like when they do this crazy instrumental, it sounds like, wait, did the crowd not like it? What's going on? They're into it. Again, incredible dynamics.
Yeah, a little crowd noise is good, but I'm kind of liking it not hearing really any crowd noise because we can focus on the music.
I think if it's super, super low and then raise it in between songs so you can feel that. But yeah, you wouldn't want just to have crowd noise like almost the same level as a band. That wouldn't be great.
The short is far, damnation is near. Whoa.
It's like, what are they doing? There's like 3 more minutes left.
Good God.
All these false endings.
You know that it is.
Oh, great guitar tone.
I really like the fact that they're on their second 2 albums. They're really straight ahead rock. They don't do anything like really long, really excessively long songs. But live, I wouldn't have pegged them for kind of a jam band. But I mean, they're really good. They're really good at it.
Peter was asking if this is side. So right now we're still on side 1, was the first 3 songs. And then every subsequent side will have 2 songs on it.
Oof.
I'm still a little bit afraid. Okay, there's 2 minutes left. Is he going to do this for 2 minutes? And trapeze was big in America, and particularly Texas, so people at the show are probably like super amped to have them there.
This ending sounds very Grand Funk.
It's very hard to do, slowing down in unison like that. Wow. It's one of those things that sounds super easy, but it's really hard.
I love it. He was doing it even back then.
Wow.
That was great.
So the Doors played here July 10th, 1968.
It's Dave Holland, man. Woo!
So when the Doors played.
Thank you very much. We're gonna do another song off the Medusa album. This is a song which we haven't done in about 2 years. And the last time we played in Houston, a lot of people asked us to play it and we didn't have the time to rehearse it. So we did it yesterday. This is a love song off the Medusa album called Sea Fall.
Yes.
It's almost like they read our minds to create the perfect trapeze set list.
I know, right?
And I guess when you record so stripped down like this, it's real. It makes it a little easier to put on such a faithful recreation of the album. There's not a lot of studio craziness going on in these albums. It's pretty raw. So when the Doors performed here in 1968, the opening band was called Moving Sidewalks, which is something we've discussed on the show, which featured Billy Gibbons, who would be in ZZ Top less than a year later. You hear the bass a little clearer on this one, it sounds like.
Then take a look. Rubbing my eyes.
I think he's really shining on these softer songs.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, he sounds
Could be just
fantastic.
Wasn't warmed up yet either.
Well, my head it starts creeping to where you lay. A silk sense of pillow at the top of your bed.
He was asking when Mel Gallagher was doing White Snake. What was that, in 1983? It wasn't for very long.
Mm-hmm.
Because he was only on Slip It In, right?
Slip it in.
Talk to just your hand. Surely see it. Oh, you've got to be in the land. Whoa.
Yeah, you got him in Whitesnake from basically 1983. He might have joined like in late 1982 and stayed until early 1984, but basically all of 1983 that I can tell.
Shed out your light to shade in the past. And now he who speaks contending of time. Gone is the day. Now here comes the night.
His vocals on Saints and Sinners? Maybe. Oh yeah, he did. He came in. I think we talked about that on Saints and Sinners episode. I think he had already joined the band, and he did some backing vocals like after the fact, after everyone else was basically kicked out of the band.
Mm-hmm.
I think the only one he played on was Slide It In. So there are a couple other notable power trios that also played the Coliseum. Supergroup Cream played there October 24th, 1968. And the Jimi Hendrix Experience played there June 6, 1970, 3 months before he died. Oh, would it have been the Experience at that point? I don't know. Might have just been called Jimi Hendrix. Did Scott just leave and record a podcast and come back? Wouldn't that have surprised me? No, there's nothing low energy about this show.
Yes, it's a sea foam burning out shade. God did all he done forever will stay. Forever will stay. Forever will stay. Forever will stay.
So Fielding is saying whenever he's in Texas, he finds a lot of trapeze in like record stores, which is not something you really see very often. So maybe they still have a strong presence back there from the early days.
Hope I'm gonna make you see. Stay for a
And this isn't terribly longer than the album version. I want to say the album version's like 7 or 8 minutes, right?
I don't know. I don't think so.
It's pretty long.
I don't think it's close to 10 minutes.
I think it's like 7 or 8.
I think we need to fact check that one.
Let's do it.
You do it. I'm too lazy. Fact check yourself.
I'll fact check it while I produce the show here. Oh, 6.5. It's jury. I'm thinking of jury's 8 minutes.
Yeah. See?
All right. You're right. Okay. All right.
Hey, I don't know a lot of stuff from memory. All right. So give me my wins
All
where I
right.
can
No,
take
it's a
them.
good win. It's a good win. You win. It wasn't a contest, but you win.
Yeah. Damn right.
I have to tell my kids that all the time.
Oh, stretch out your light. You know I love you.
I think this is a love song. I wonder what it's about. I mean, besides love.
It's a love song, but not about love.
I can hear the audience a little
See,
bit.
perfect amount of crowd noise.
Give.
No, thank you, Glenn.
Yeah.
Your love is all right. I think we're guaranteed to hear some whooping on this one. So some other notable shows that were played in this area, which I seem to have lost my. Never mind.
Take you away. You give your love to which I have to pay.
Ike and Tina Turner, 1971,
I'm
July.
going down low.
That was the last notable thing before Trapeze took the stage in 1972.
Oh, yes, I know. There's no mistake. Yes. I'm not alone no more. No. So let me say your love is alright. Your love is alright. I've had bad times. Oh, the people say I'm getting rough. Oh, I can tell you, babe. I can tell you enough. So listen to
So the Gardeau sent me a list of a website where you can look at all the notable recordings from the day, from a specific day, on which I would assume is the day of his birth.
Mm-hmm.
I put in the date of mine, and it says
we should know each other. Love.
there's no notable
So never
entries found for this day.
Oh,
It's
wow.
a musical black hole of the day I was born. Nobody played any shows, nobody recorded any songs. One of the songs from the day Peter Gardeau was born is "I Feel a Song Coming On" by the Rhythm Counts. I feel a song coming on. Wishful thinking, I guess.
Like the counts?
The Rhythm Counts. 1.
2. It'd be great if you had the count, like doing a count off to a song. 1.
Peter's asking me if I was born on a Sunday, but I was born on a Thursday, I think. So. I mean, guess it wouldn't be a lot of releases on a Thursday. He's got a Friday, so I guess he's got me beat in that regard. I was not born on Thanksgiving. You know what? I'm gonna type in your birthday. You ain't coming up with anything good there. Nothing for you either. Maybe Peter is just some music, or maybe I'm using this site wrong. I don't know.
Probably. There can't be like a bunch of stuff for him and then nothing for us.
Hey, you were born on a Thursday too.
Who,
Let's
me?
check the next day. Yeah.
Oh.
Next day's got nothing. Not even on Friday.
Yeah, I don't think you're using it right.
Maybe not. It seems unlikely there'd be nothing. Good opportunity to mention that Bruce Springsteen and the East Street Band played in 1974. And then, of course, Ozzy Osbourne played with Randy Rhoads two shows, one June 7th, 1981, and another February 17th, 1982, which would have been just like a month before Randy died, right?
Mm-hmm.
Amazing that Mel Galley doesn't come up more often in the midst of just like awesome 70s guitarists. It's just amazing. Peter has sent me a link to find out what the #1 song was the day you were born. We'll do that instead. John, any ideas, or do you already know?
Oh, I know. I've heard this. Like, I don't know. I feel like I know, but I can't remember.
You got a good one. I wish this was mine.
What?
50 Ways to Leave Your Lover by Paul Simon.
Oh yeah.
Great track. I'm gonna put mine in. You Light Up My Life by Debbie Boone. Not as good as 50 Ways to Leave Your Lover. Peter's probably got like a badass, Beatles song or something. Ooh, Alan Beggs is Jumpin' Jack Flash. That's a good one.
Oh, nice.
Some people say I'm no good. Some people say I ain't funky.
Nobody says that.
Some people say I even should. But you ain't heard nothing.
I like how he ends every line like with a pause because he hasn't thought of what he's gonna say yet. Some people say I'm immature. Ooh, Scott Haskin, Lean on Me by Bill Withers. Everyone's got a better song than me. There. Whoop, little interference. really good funky interlude here. Although it's getting a little static. I don't know if that's just from the board itself or...
Oh, I thought that was my headphones.
No, it's coming from the recording, but don't change your podcast dial. It could just be, it's just coming from the somebody standing on their cord or something. Peter Gardot has I can't help myself, Sugar Pie Honey Bunch by the Four Tops. Another classic.
I'm curious.
I was just hoping that it would be like Ian Gillan Band would have played like Clear at Turbulence Tour or something. Like right by me, like in Providence. I don't think they played any US states. Oh, maybe. God says on his birthday in 1992 it was Sir Mix-a-Lot. How the times change.
Sir Mix-a-Lot.
Yeah, and I don't think he had any other charting songs. Although maybe it was just a strong enough single that his second single might have just barely popped on the charts, but there's definitely no way he got a third one that snuck a third one by anybody. Rich has got Love Crowd by the Supremes and the Rolling Stones show with John Lennon. Somebody's gonna have one worse than me.
I'm not alone no more. No, so let me say, love won't want is all right, yeah.
So it looks like
Get down.
one of the newspaper articles that are pictured in this gatefold, it looks like the cover of We're the Music, You're Just the Band. Are you? You're the music, we're just the band.
We all know.
Oops.
We all know.
Oh, so I decided to look at what the number one movie was when I was born.
Oh.
It was Taxi Driver,
Oh, there you go.
De Niro. And admission to the movies was $2.13.
Oh, wow.
Get down, you've got to get down. Listen.
Ow!
All right.
I'm happier with my movie than I am with my song. Woo!
What's my movie? Let's see here.
Thank you.
What? Julia? I don't even know what the hell that is.
Thank you very much.
What?
It's probably 1 week earlier. It would have been Star Wars.
Woo!
Julia.
What?
I'd like to just to thank everybody for coming tonight and the people who came last night, because we've all of us have had a sincerely good time, because we always enjoy coming back to Houston. And
Oh, admission went up 10 cents a year later.
Forget
We all
that. That's
wanna
probably when my
thank-
dad was like, I'm not going to the movies anymore.
the guys, the beautiful people that's promoted us, can we all of us, put together
It's a historical drama starring Jane Fonda.
They're beautiful people.
I'll pass. It's Barbarella or nothing for me.
Oh,
Now they're going into Medusa.
hell yes.
He really bends the hell out of that high note. Sounds like he's gonna snap a string.
You're bound to think that I'm on the shore from a sea that almost came. Now's the time to find the time. I've done what has to be done. Voices call the nameless one, crying all of the time.
See, he sounds like I can't tell if he's just warming up, but he just keeps sounding better and better with each track.
In my sleep, stretching out into the night, you know it's alright.
What a riff.
You said you saw Medusa. Whoa, head on fire.
Like if they had kept this band going, I'm pretty sure Mel Galley's legacy as a riff master would have been much higher because he doesn't get enough credit for his riffs.
Or 4 or 5 years later, they would have done the disco version of Medusa. Yeah. that disco noise. Boo, 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 boo.
I remember when I was in culinary school, probably shouldn't tell the story. There was one of the girls in my class, like, one of the kids, I guess we acted like kids, but one of the guys in my class thought she looked like a porn star. But every time she walked by, he'd be like, boo, 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 like doing like 70s porn music. Thankfully, I don't think she ever picked up on.
That's so stupid. I love it.
I don't know how you look wearing like these big bulky chef coats. I don't know how you look like a porn star. She had like a lot of makeup on. She like really like clearly didn't roll out of bed like the rest of us did. So maybe that was something to do with it. Whatever happened to that guy?
I mean, you know, most people do the wow.
Yeah, that's why I think it was so funny because I don't know if that was as ubiquitous then as it is now. Which is like kind of played it out. But the fact that he chose to bring it back to the 70s, Debbie Does Dallas era. So it says here in this article, there were a few ripples of applause when Hughes announced they were going to play a song from their last album, Medusa, that's still doing a healthy 12,000 copies a month in the States, 2 years after release. Ironic, though, because what does Medusa mean to the British rock public, or for that matter, Trapeze? Maybe it's the band's fault for spending most of their time in America. Like the brawny Hughes joked, When the band stepped on stage, "Thank you for coming to one of our rare British appearances, about the 6th this year," or something, I think. Anyway, here we go. It's weird to call him brawny. I guess he kind of did look like the brawny man back then. He had that like mustache and like, you know, that like, you know, he had that handlebar mustache.
Here's an appearance for you.
The show from a sea that never came. Now's the time
I don't know what what
to find the
this is from, but it's like I think it's a review of their show at the London Marquee, written by Robert Burrington. So not sure what publication.
Yeah, I think in the chat they're referring to the brawny Fat Glenn era was when he was in Black Sabbath, where he looked like he was in the Lost an extra in the Lost Boys. And playing Vampire Number 3, Glenn Hughes.
Chunkula.
Oh, Chunkula.
Yeah, but I mean, there's that, that picture of, I think, from Medusa, who's wearing the cowboy hat, and he's got the mustache and the beard.
Yeah,
the rare bearded Hughes. But he did kind of have that beard in Sabbath, too. Alan points out, he was a mere 21 years old here. A youngin'.
He knew what he was doing.
take a good look at my face.
He's having too much fun with that. So I wonder if when he went to Deep Purple, if he still had that little effects thing, and they just took it from him like, no, you can't have this. But he's not really overdoing it.
He goes, give me that.
Give me that.
Give me that, yo.
John Coletta just wrestles it out of his hand.
She ain't coming back. Don't look at her face. Don't look at her face. Don't look at her face. What?
Well, people like to talk about, like, Glenn's, drug phase and doing this, but this is when he was, before he even really touched this stuff.
Yeah, this was when I'm sure he was doing some substances, but more for fun and not it becoming a problem, a huge problem.
I can't remember reading it in his book or something that he basically didn't touch drugs until joining Deep Purple. I don't know if that's 100% accurate, but it was something like that.
I mean, could have been.
I mean, I think it was a pretty quick descent. Like, he tried cocaine for the first time, and like a lot of people will tell you, like, that have been really super addicted. They try it the first time, like, oh, this is what's been missing my whole life, and then they just go all in, Not like other people who might just dabble in it.
Thank you.
I'm like that with cake.
Exactly.
Thank you very much indeed.
He said good night. So are they doing a 3-song encore?
Yeah, they're doing the fake goodbye.
Even though the crowd's tuned down very, very quiet, you can tell that they're not having any of this good night business.
Does anybody buy it?
If Ritchie was in a power trio and they had to just come and do an encore with a bass and drums, at least John Lord could kind of cover for him, or whoever.
Yeah.
Rainbow at the moment.
Thank you very much indeed.
Yeah, you're right. That would be difficult to cover up. It's probably why Ritchie was never in a power trio.
If only that thing with Phil and Lynott had worked out. They're going into Black Cloud now, it sounds like, for the encore. If this is, I don't know if they sequenced this for the record. If this was the exact order they played it.
I was gonna say this would be a good opener. I mean, just because it opened the album, like a show opener.
Sure.
Because I thought the opener that they did for this show was kind of I mean, it's great, but I thought it was kind of unusual.
It was great. Well, according to setlist.fm, this is the accurate.
All right.
It says setlist comes from a live album recording of the show, unknown if it's partial or full. So
Oh, time to think of things that I am to say wherever I go. Oh, the black lights are following me. Oh.
Yeah, it is pretty miraculous that he sounds as good as he does now.
I mean, it's amazing and inexplicable.
Well, I mean, we can't speak for everything that he did throughout the years before he got sober, but I heard a recent interview with him about the latest Dead Daisies album and tour, and of course his voice came up, and he said all the usual stuff that you would hear. He's like plenty of sleep, water, rest, breath exercises. I mean, he does do stuff. He wasn't like Dio, who just like walked out on stage and was like, okay, I'm going to belt it out. Like, he actually actively takes care of himself and warms up. And
now, but I'm sure there's a really long period.
Oh no, but I mean, I think that's why he was able to sustain or keep what he had. I mean, I think some of it's luck, but some of it too is that he's smart enough to know that at his age, he has to maintain, and it's working.
And he never smoked, so that's a huge part of it.
Well, cigarettes.
He didn't deal with 10, 20, 50 years of destruction to his larynx from cigarettes, so I don't think I'm talking in his book. I mean, I think that's how he got into cocaine and things like that, because in his book he talks he didn't like smoking. He didn't like the sensation of it. I'm sure he took a few puffs here and there of various things over the years, but never regularly smoked anything, so because he didn't like the sensation. So unfortunately that lends itself to much harder drugs if you're getting rid of that delivery mechanism. Peter says this would be a great record for a road trip, but his wife would ask him to change the channel. Yeah, I don't think I would even attempt it. Although we are driving to Kalamazoo. Oh, my wife's pretty good, like, because, you know, I do all the driving, so she's pretty much like, hey, if there's something you want to listen to, and I'm like, yeah, but you're going to be, like, bored, and the kids are going to care, or they're going to just talk over it, so usually try to listen to something we can all listen to. Oh, who knows, maybe I'll throw in Trapeze. My wife loves nothing more than 14-minute instrumental jams. As soon as she saw the track, she'd be like, oh no.
So when you hear me calling, don't you hear me calling?
So I did a quick search to see if I could answer Alan's question. I don't think the Sam Houston Coliseum is still an active venue.
No, I think it said it was demolished.
Yeah.
Yes, there's a section in Wikipedia called Fate. So you know it's not going to be like, and then it's still open and doing great.
Well, I mean, I found nearby the Bernard G. Johnson Coliseum,
Johnson,
which doesn't sound as cool.
Scott is reminding me to pick up some of the Big Boys sauce that Chris L mentioned on our JLT episodes. I've been back to Michigan like 4 or 5 times since then, and every time I forget, because I never see any Big Boys. I'll have to actually look one up. I'll have to take a special little detour to find one. If I saw one, I think it would click and I would pull over. nice. Well, again, what's the length on the? What's the over under on the length of the Black Cloud album version?
This one, the album version is going to be like 5 minutes or something. It's definitely not close to this long.
You've been pretty spot on. So 6:13.
See, I'm so smug.
You are. You're loving it. I'm gonna make you mess one up tonight so that we can end on a bad note. I'm not gonna stand for this.
You can play the wah wah sound.
Scott's mentioned the toms are sounding kind of flat. It's pretty typical at that time. Yeah, you get a little bit more. Yeah, the toms are super flat. It almost sounds like they got tea towels over them. The snare's got a little bit more pop to it than on an album version. Yeah, I gotta say, I would prefer the flat toms over like the super ringy, echoey 80s ones. The reverb that lasts like 4-second decay on it. But I think there's probably a happy medium. These are probably a little too flat. Thank you. Good night. Are they going to do a second false ending here?
Smell Gillan and David Holland. Thank you very much. Ow!
Oh, they're doing the unison clap. That it's like, you're not going anywhere. Listen up, bitches. You're staying on stage.
Listen, bitches.
I remember we played a show. My band played a show, like one of our first shows. It was one of the best shows I ever played. Like the place was packed. Everyone was just having a great time. And it was like all of our friends were there. Like can't remember if we were opening for friends of ours or vice versa. But we played all of our songs. And at the end, it was like, we're like, shit, we don't have any more songs. So we just played one of our other songs again. People didn't care. They had a good time.
That's great.
So I'm wondering if they're having a little press conference. Like, what other songs do we have?
Play something on my first album. No.
Here's a song for your feet. This is a sore feet song, man. This is a song you're all gonna get blisters on your feet.
Mel's tuning his guitar like crazy. So this version is 10 minutes and 39 seconds. John, how long do you think the Medusa version of Touch My Life is?
I don't remember because I don't think this is one of this is probably one of the songs I don't like as much as the other ones, or it's a lesser favorite. I know I'm sticking with 5 minutes.
Yeah, 4 minutes and 6 seconds, not bad.
Hey-o. All right, so I overshot it a little bit. But
it wasn't a complete embarrassment on your part.
Get out of here.
They're doing it a little different on this, though. It's got like a more of a...
Yeah, they threw a little stank on it.
Yeah, they put like a little bit of they're hitting the notes a little like on the more on the upbeat or something. It's not the exact same rhythm as the album.
I mean, that's good.
Yeah, they're doing something different, but everything else they played up until this point has been very like spot on the album version. Easy, Glenn, easy.
Easy with that Denny's language.
No, jeez. I think he is. About flat toms, Rich says if it's good enough for Ringo, it's good enough for him.
There we
He
go.
had G-towels over all of his drums.
Get up, come on.
All right. We might run into a technical difficulty here in a second. We'll see what happens. I don't think it's gonna allow me to fully record this file before the song ends. So we'll see.
Yes, I do. I get the feeling inside. Oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah. You know I do. Yes, I do. Oh, oh, oh,
But don't worry with the little studio trickery. It's like it sounded like Glenn's bass got completely unplugged. And then he came back in. I don't know if he just missed something. He got a real like heavy like fuzz box on it or something now.
Yeah, it does sound really fuzzy. Like really distorted.
listen.
It seems like they're playing it more like the album version now. I think it was just when it just started up, it was kind of doing that little off time thing.
It's so very long for your life to touch my life. I get the feeling inside. Listen, good morning, love. I hope you will stay on the ride. You've been riding away.
Peter's asking if when we saw dead daisies if there's any trapeze in the set list. I don't think so, right? They just did a deep purple, like burn, and mistreated. I think those are the only two previous Glenn. Oh, they might have. Let's check it out. No, nothing else. They did burn, right? Or did they not do burn when we saw them? They just did mistreated?
We've all been waiting
Oh, they did burn as an encore.
No, yeah, they did.
for so long for all your love to touch my life. I get good feelings inside. get funky feelings inside.
I like getting funky feelings inside.
Listen. All right, it's the band.
Scott says Dead Daisy's playing with Graham Bonnet Band. That'd be something to see.
That's cool.
Deep
Should be a
Purple,
good show.
Podcast trip to Europe.
I'm down.
So much for the new computer. And we have to put in quite a bit from our own pockets. Flying to Europe with lodging and concert tickets. We've probably got some listeners that would put us up. Depends on where they're playing. But we're too old for that. We'd probably just want to stay at the hotel anyway.
Yeah.
I'm past the sleeping on someone's couch phase.
I mean, I'm not, but I prefer not to. I mean, I'm past the phase, but I've done it.
I haven't done any couch surfing in a very long time.
I like a nice comfy couch, usually my own, but that doesn't really count.
A little different. Like the show I talked about where we ended up playing one of our songs again. That was a common. We'd be up in Boston, we'd stay at somebody's house. Usually didn't even know whose house it was. Just sleep on some couch. And I could wake up in the morning feeling okay about it. different time now. Doing a lot of
Get down.
It's great.
Get right down.
Sounds like the end of SATO. It's a bit for a second. Peter suggests there might be a Montreal Airbnb guy might have some rooms available in Europe.
Yeah, he can kiss the fattest part of my ass.
Mooties, is that his name?
Yeah, Mooties, not the Gardot, Mooties.
Yeah, I know. I didn't think you were talking about Gardot.
I get good feelings inside. Yes, I do.
No, I like how I'm like, oh, this is going to be a shorter show, and then I'm like, wait, I'm playing an hour and a half set list, playlist. I'm like, how is this going to be any shorter? I mean, it's continuous. We're not stopping it to give ratings or anything, but it's like, of course it's not going to be a short show. It's never a short show.
We love you. Thank you very much. Ow!
Man, they just keep tricking this crowd. Okay, this is the last one coming up, though, folks. Keep in time. The final show of or final song of the show, live in Houston. I know one of these days I'm not going to warn that it's going to be a shorter show and it's going to be like 35 minutes long, and people are like, what the hell is that? I need to record a second show this week.
Nate's not screwing around. This is short. So
No,
was that
one
it?
time I don't warn.
Oh, man, this is out of sight. Thank you. Thank you.
This is out of sight. It's like that scene in Back to the Future 3. Oh, this is far out. Like, I don't know what he's talking about. It's right in front of him. I'll take a Pepsi free. Yeah, Pepsi, you're gonna pay for it.
Oh, jeez. Oh, that humor.
Come on, that's one of the greatest movies.
You got a ticket, but I'm gonna run. Got to keep in time with the music. I'm raising my feelings. I'm gonna try to keep in time with the music. Don't stop the music. Don't stop the
It'd be great that they're like performing a song about trying to keep in time with the music. It's like, oh, I hope so.
Be funny if they couldn't.
Don't stop.
not even gonna try.
Don't stop loving. Don't stop, you ain't gonna lose it. Don't stop loving.
Got some stanky ass bass. Nice little guitar
Stanky ass
on
bass.
there. Listen to that and tell me it's not stanky ass bass.
Yeah.
Don't stop now, cause we're breaking through. Keeping time with the music. I'm raising my feelings, it's all up to you. To keeping time with the music.
Imagine 50 years ago being at the show. I wonder if anybody is listening that was
Don't stop loving.
at the show.
Don't stop.
Or even saw them on this tour.
Incredible.
Can't stop this, baby.
This would have been a great show to be at, man.
Don't stop.
Alan Beck says, "Give me a tab." Like, give me a tab unless you pay for something.
Don't stop. You ain't gonna lose it. Don't stop. Don't stop loving.
Just give me something with no sugar on it. Just give him a cup of coffee.
Relax in the bed.
There's got to be a Back to the Future podcast out there, right?
Yeah. I mean, isn't there a podcast for everything?
Yeah, sure.
What do they call it? Like Pod to the Future?
Back. I don't know. If we did it, we call it the Back to the Future podcast.
How original.
Hey, you like it? Don't steal it. On one, but there's only too many episodes. Well, 87. I guess that's a lot for just 3 movies. There's like a whole genre of I was talking with Nick about this. There's this whole genre of podcast that's minute by minute podcasts. So each episode will focus on one minute of the movie, and the next one will be the next minute.
Oh my God.
So much things you can, like, if you really know a movie really well, so many things you can dive into in that 1 minute, whether it's the musical cues, the cuts, the way they do it, whatever the humor is in that. I mean, if you know a movie really well, you could probably very easily do that. I could certainly do it for Back to the Future. Me and Nick have been toying with a movie podcast just about one movie. I don't want to give it away. The same way that you and Chris Al are talking about doing your Three's Company podcast. It's like something that's probably never gonna happen, but it's fun to talk about.
It was a fleeting idea.
Oh yeah, Alan says he's waiting on my Zappa podcast. Yep, someday. I've been talking about that for a long time too. Even my my domain name, I just renewed it for the 3rd consecutive year the other day. For the name for the podcast that I have yet to reveal. It's so perfect, I don't want anyone to steal it. Well, I guess they can't steal the domain name because I own it. But once again, the thing preventing me from doing it is I'm pretty sure the Zappas would
Yeah.
very litigious.
Walking through your land.
Oh, Ford Fairlane.
Scott is postulates that the movie podcast we're gonna do is on Ford Fairlane. No, but it's a good idea.
What I remember about that is that I had I don't know, it was like I had some friends over for my birthday or something like that, so we had to rent a movie, and your cousin Jeff was there. And of course, he was one of my best friends. So somebody was in charge of renting the movie, and we came back with Ford Fairlane because it was a rock and roll movie. And so he's just like, I just remember going, who rented Ford Fairlane, the suckiest movie of all time? He was like
Jeff
so
said
mad
that?
about it.
Yeah, I can imagine.
It was like Andrew Dice Clay is like a rock and roll detective or some shit.
I never saw it.
Everybody, come on. Get out.
Apparently Jeff did.
Yeah, but well, apparently he knew it sucked.
Well, I think everybody knew that. It was like pretty much when it came out. It was just one of those movies that was an instant disaster, like Ishtar. We're gonna get Jeff on an episode just so we can talk about Fort Fairlane.
He probably doesn't even remember like yelling that.
No, he was often comedic. He had an immense comedic impact on any environment he was in, but I don't think he really knew or cared.
It is Ford Fairlane. Andrew Dice Clay as the Mr. Rock and Roll Detective.
What does that even mean? What is rock and roll detective?
Who knows? He wears a leather jacket and he goes, "Oh,
Hickory dickory dock." You got a double bass going on there?
I ain't gonna take it, but I'm gonna run. Got to keep in time with the
Pictures of his drum set.
I'm raising my feelings out.
Looks like a single kick set.
Keep in time with the music.
They didn't have those double kick pedals for single drum set running out thing.
I'm listening."
Oh, I should have started listening sooner. Oh man, it's over.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
But at this point, what's to make them think they're not going to get a fourth encore? Hey guys, it's worked the last couple times. But pretty amazing performance, and amazing that they can still unearth and put out stuff like this that was basically 50 years ago.
Mhm.
And put it out as new material, and it sounds great. There's a you are the music, we're just the band advertisement they have featured here. It says Trapeze is joined by some friends: Rod Argent, Kirk Dungan, John Ogden, and Frank Riccardi.
Oh,
Go back to our "You Are the Music, We're Just the Band" episode for more on Frank. But I don't know, man. Pretty great concert. Great live album.
yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, I would. One thing that I didn't expect is that they would be, which I probably should have expected, was they were really they did a lot of long jams. They really extended out those songs. But I mean, I think a lot of power trios did that live, but they sounded really good. Glenn sounded pretty rough, but not rough bad, just not as polished as we know him these days.
He sounded raw, yeah, but yeah, the same way he did on the albums.
Yeah, this one he sounded a little bit more. He wasn't even like hitting some of the notes that he usually hits on the albums too, and that could have been for a variety of reasons. But honestly, I liked it. I like hearing him in a different way.
Scott Haskin, I'm noticing this late, said the double bass drum pedal was invented in 1909. Touche. I guess it was.
Nobody played double bass until the 80s.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it certainly was not popularized, because I remember even having double bass on a set was kind of unusual at a certain point or then. But anyway, I don't know. But yeah, great live album. Highly recommend. Very happy with this copy here. And one thing that I will always say, and it would be incredible. Imagine if there was a video of this. That would just be just so incredible. It's just a shame that was such an extra burden in a technology that was so cost prohibitive at the time that you weren't getting that stuff from many bands that weren't sensationally big.
Right.
So sadly, a lot of these shows go unvideoed at this point. But hey, thank you to all of our patrons for joining us in the chat. We really appreciate it. And if you want to become a patron on Patreon or on PayPal to join future live streams, we were doing these on YouTube, but they keep. We're just worried they're going to end our episodes like they did last time, and then it's just no fun for everybody. So with that, it is time to move on to the final stage of our show, where we thank our foundation level patrons. Coming in at the $3.33 halfway to evil tier, we've got Raf Calf, Spike the Rock Cat, and Spike's mom, the latter two who are on the stream right now. Thank you for Spike and Sugar Tea over there. And at the $3 Nobody's Perfect tier, we have Peter Gardeau, Ian DeRosier, Mark Roback, Duncan Leask, Stuart McCord, Flight of the Rat Bat Blue Light, Ivan Fieldboo.
It's a great life if you know weekend.
And Runar Simonson.
It's a great life if you know weekend.
And rounding out the $3 tier, we have JJ Stenard and Ruinous Inadequacies. At the $1 made up name tier, we have The Dead in Houston Leaky Mausoleum, Stephen Somerville, the Concerto 1999 Fanatic, Hank the Tank, Private Eyes, Ashen Lionel, Blackmore Tights, and John Maselli.
Dirt is my enemy.
That's right. That was just for you, Rich. So Rich was complaining that the full volume Who's the Boss theme song blows his eardrums out every time. I think it's only on the YouTube. On the regular podcast, I don't think it's that bad.
I knew he was going to say something, and it was perfect because as soon as it came on, he said "motherfucker" in the chat.
I was thinking, I actually kicked it up a little bit louder than normal for that one.
Dirt is my enemy.
Dirt is my enemy.
Yeah, I live the dust.
You know what they say, a clean house is a good house. Oh, he loves things to be clean. But big thanks to a few other folks. Duncan Leask was on the in here as well as Peter Gardeau, obviously, and Alan Begg. And thank you to all of you for joining us. We always appreciate having you guys on the stream. Always a lot of fun. And yeah, that's all we got for this week. So it is actually, slightly shorter episode, not by a ton.
Told you.
Like 10 minutes shorter than a normal episode. But yeah, this is why we, when we get into the longer albums, we break them up into two, because stopping this between songs would have pushed us into a territory that we actually got into last week, even though it was a short album. But, those of you on the chat, you don't know what it is yet, so you'll find out. You'll find out when everybody else does, unless you join the new 100 level tier, in which case
we'll tell you everything.
Yeah. You can hear it all the dirt that nobody cares about. All right. Well, with that, to the great group of patrons and to my good friend John, we'll see you next week.
Good night, folks.
Thank you for listening to the Deep Purple Podcast. If you like what you hear and would like more episodes in the future, please donate on Patreon to support the show. You can also leave us a review in Apple Podcasts to help new people discover the show. You can follow us on YouTube, Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook for show updates. See deeppurplepodcast.com for more details. Thank you for listening.